Hello students, this is your economics teacher INR. I hope you are well and utilizing the time wisely.
In the previous class, you learned about chapter 5 monetary economics. Today you are going to learn about chapter 6 banking. Firstly, we will discuss commercial bank and its functions. Students, please watch this video very carefully till the end. Fine. Let us enter into the chapter 6 banking. Students, take the page number 95. Introduction. Finance is the lifeblood of all economic activities such as trade, commerce, agriculture and industry. A bank is generally understood as an institution which provides a fundamental financial service such as accepting deposits and lending loans. Banking sector acts as the backbone of modern business world. The banking system significantly contributes for the development of any country. Due to the importance in the financial stability of a country, banks are highly regulated in most countries. Historical development. The name bank is usually used in the sense of commercial bank. The word bank seems to have originated from the Germanic word bank, which means a joint stock fund or heap. It is possible that the word has also been derived from the French word banque and the Italian word banco. The Italian word banco refers to a bench at which the money changers or medieval bankers used to change one kind of money into another and transact their banking business. Thus, the early banking was associated with the business of money changing. The first public banking institution was the Bank of Venice, founded in 1157. The Bank of Barcelona and the Bank of Geneva were established in 1401 up to 1407 respectively. These are the recognized forerunners of modern commercial banks. Exchange banking was developed after the installation of the Bank of Amsterdam in 1609 and the Bank of Hamburg in 1690. Here, the Riksbank of Sweden, which had sprung from a private bank established in 1656, is the oldest central bank in the world. It acquired the sole right of note issue in 1897. But the fundamentals of the art of banking have been developed by the Bank of England 1864, the first bank of issue. A large number of central banks were established between 1921 and 1956. Is compliance with the resolution passed by the International Finance Conference held at Brussels in 1920, the South African Reserve Bank 1921, the Central Bank of China 1928, the Reserve Bank of New Zealand 1934, the Reserve Bank of India 1935, the Central Bank of Ceylon 1950 and the Bank of Israel 1954 were established. The modern banking system actually developed only in the 19th century. In India, the first modern bank, Bank of Bengal, was established in 1809 in the Bengal Presidency. Before the Industrial Revolution, the size of business units was very small. After some years, there was a great increase in the size of the business units. Therefore, joint stock forms of business organization were established. Such form of business organization widened the circle of investors by enabling people with a small means to become shareholders of big industries enterprises. Still, some people did not want to undertake any kind of risk by investing their money. Hence, an institution was created to mobilize funds on terms acceptable by the people. Such an institution is called bank, whose business is to mobilize capital, and hence banks are connecting link between the people who have surplus money and the people who are in need of money. The early stage of banks included three types of institution. First, The merchant bankers, who was primarily a trader, he accepted customers' money and kept it under safe custody. Second, the moneylenders who lent his surplus money to the needy person on deriving some interest payments. Third, the goldsmith who accepted the valuable like gold and diamonds of customers and kept it under his safe custody. It will be returned to the customers on demand and interest will be collected for that. Modern bank return all the characteristics of above three types of institutions. The advancement of society and economic thinking, specializations and extended market resulting from industrial revolution paved the way for developing modern commercial banking system. The role of bank extended from merely being institution of deposits and discounts to custodians of national finance and trustees of the surplus balance of the public. The modern banks have now become the lifeblood of all our commercial and industrial activities. Students, first you are going to learn about commercial bank and its function. Take the page number 96. Commercial banks. A commercial bank is an institution that operates for profit. The traditional functions of a commercial bank relate to the acceptance of deposits from the public and provision of credit to different sectors of the economy. However, with the evolutions of modern banking and the growth of banking system as an integral part of the national economy, there has been a perceptible changes in the attitudes and the outlook of commercial banks. These banks have started providing a host of banking service to their customers. Nevertheless, the basic character of commercial banking remains unchanged. In the early days, commercial banks are organized as a joint stock company to earn profit. They cater to the needs of short-term, medium-term credits and provide capital to businessmen and industrialists. In the recent days, the bank lent long-term funds to businessmen and industrialists. In short, commercial banks refers to a bank or a division of a large bank which more specifically deals with deposits and loan service provided to corporation or large middle-sized business as opposed to individual members of the public or small business. They do not provide long-term credit as liquidity of asset is to be maintained. Functions of commercial bank. Commercial banks are institutions that conduct business with a profit motive by accepting public deposits and lending loans for various investment purposes. There are some important functions of commercial bank. First, primary function. Second, secondary function. Third, other function. Functions of commercial bank. First, primary function. First, accepting or attracting deposits. It implies that commercial banks are mainly dependent on public deposits. There are two types of deposits which are discussed as follows. First, demand deposits. Demand deposits are kept under current account. The depositor can withdraw the money on demand, but the account holder should specify the amount and number of withdrawals. Banks do not pay any interest on these accounts. Here, it refers to deposits that can be withdrawn by individuals without any prior notice to the bank. In other words, the owners of these deposits are allowed to withdraw money anytime by writing a withdrawal slip or a check at the bank counter or from ATM centers using debit cards. On the contrary, bank impose service charges on maintaining these accounts. Second, time deposits or fixed deposits. It refers to deposits that are made for certain committed periods of time. Banks pay higher interest on time deposits. These deposits can be withdrawn only after a specific time period by providing a return notice to the bank. In other words, these are banks known as time deposits. The amount deposited cannot be withdrawn before the maturity period for which they have contracted. These deposits carry interest at higher rates varying with the length of the contract. Second, advancing loans. It refers to granting loans to the individuals and businessmen. Commercial banks grant loans in the form of overdraft. What is meant by overdraft? The respectable and reliable customers enjoy these facilities. The customer can issue checks or withdraw the money in times of need, even if there is no adequate balance in his account. The customer will pay the interest to the bank for the amount of withdrawn. Second, cash credits. Cash credit refers to the bank sanctions loans to individuals or firms against some collateral security. The loan money is created in the account of the borrower and he can withdraw the amount as and when it is required. The ceiling of the loan amount is determined by the bank on the base of the stock value of the borrower, which in turn become bankers' possessions. The borrowers can withdraw the cash within or up to the credit limit. The bank charges interest for the amount withdrawn only. And discounting bill of exchange. The meaning of discounting bill of exchange. This operation is done through discounting of commercial papers, promissory notes and bills of exchange, usually for 3 months. The banks, after deducting interest charges and collection charges from the face value of the bills, give the balance amount to the customers. When the exchange bill matures, the banks collect the payment from the party. Second, functions of commercial bank. Secondary function. The secondary function can be classified under 3 heads, namely agency function, general utility function and other function. First, agency function. It implies that commercial banks act as agents of customers by performing various functions. First agency function, collecting checks. Banks collect checks and bills of exchange on the behalf of their customers through clearinghouse facilities provided by the central bank. Second, collecting income. Commercial banks collected dividends, pension, salaries, rents and interest on investment on behalf of their customers. A credit voucher is sent to customers for information when any income is collected by the bank. Third, paying expenses. Commercial banks make the payment of various obligations of the customers such as telephone bills, insurance premium, school fees and rents. Similarly, to credit voucher, a debit voucher is sent to customers for information when expenses are paid by the bank. Next, general utility functions. It implies that commercial banks provide some utility service to customers by performing various functions. First, providing locker facilities. Commercial banks provide locker facilities to its customer for safe custody of jewelry, shares, debentures and other valuable items. This minimizes the risk loss due to theft at homes. Banks are not responsible for the items in the lockers. Second, issuing traveler checks. Bank issue traveler checks to individual for traveling outside the country. Traveler checks are the safe and easy way to protect money while traveling. Third, dealing in foreign exchange. Commercial banks helps in providing foreign exchange to businessmen dealing in exports and imports. However, commercial banks need to take the permission of the central bank for dealing in foreign exchange. Third, transferring funds. It refers to transferring funds from one bank to another. Funds are transferred by means of draft, telephonic transfer and electronic transfer. Fourth, letter of credits. Commercial bank issue letters of credit to the customers to certify their credit worthiness. First, underwriting securities. Commercial bank also undertakes the task of underwriting securities as public has full faith in the credit worthiness of banks. Public do not hesitate in buying securities underwritten by banks. Electronic banking. It includes services such as debit cards, credit cards and international banking. Third, functions of a commercial bank. Other functions, money supply. It refers to one of the important functions of commercial bank that helps in increasing money supply. For examples, a bank lends 5 lakh rupees to an individual and open a demand deposits in the name of that individuals. Bank makes a credit entry of 5 lakh rupees in that account. This leads to creations of demand deposits in that account. The point to be noted here is that there is no payment in cash. Thus, without printing additional money, the supply of money is increased. Second, credit creation. Credit creation means the multiplication of loans and advances. Commercial banks receives deposits from the public and use these deposits to give loans. However, loans offered are many times more than the deposits received by banks. These functions of bank is known as credit creations. Third, collection of statistics. Banks collected and publish statistics relating to trade, commerce and industry. Hence, they advise customers and the public authorities on financial matters. Next, mechanism or techniques of credit creation by commercial banks. Bank credit refers to bank loans and advances. Money is said to be created when the banks, through their lending activities, make a net addition to the legal supply of money in the economy. Likewise, money is said to be destroyed when the loans are repaid by the borrowers to the banks, and consequently the credit already created by the bank is wipened out in the process. Banks have the power to expand or contract demand deposits, and they exercise their power through granting more or less loans and advances and acquiring other assets. This process of commercial bank to create deposits through expanding their loan and advances is known as credit creation. Primary or passive deposits and derived or active deposits. The modern banks create deposits in the two ways. They are primary deposits and derived deposits. When a customer gives cash to the bank and the bank creates a book debit in his name called a deposit, it is known as primary deposit. But when such a deposit is created without there being any prior payment of equivalent cash to the bank, it is called a derived deposit. Credit creation literally means the multiplications of loans and advances. Every loan creates its own deposits. Central bank insists the banks to maintain a ratio between the total deposits they create and the cash in their positions. For the purpose of understanding, it is assumed that all banks are obliged to keep the ratio between cash and its deposits at a minimum of 20%. The bank do not keep any excess reserves. In other words, it would exhaust possible avenues of income earnings activities like giving loans, etc., up to the maximum extent after attaining the minimum cash reserve. Second, there are no trains in the supply of money, that is, the public do not suddenly want to hold more idle currency or withdrawal from the time deposits. Under the above assumption, when a consumer deposits a sum of rupees 1000 in a bank, the bank creates a deposits of 1000 in his favor. Bank deposits or bank money have increased by 1000. But at this stage, there is no increase in the total supply of money with the public because the above extra bank money of rupees 1000 is offset by the cash of 1000 deposited in the bank. The bank has now additional cash of rupees 1000 in its custody. Since it is required to keep only a cash reserve of 20%, this means that 800 is excess cash with it. According to the above assumption, the bank should lend out these 800 rupees to the public. Suppose it does not so and the debtor deposits the money in his own account with another bank. B bank is creating a deposit of 800. Bank B then has also excess cash reserve of 600 that is 800 minus 160. If good, it is turn, lend out rupees 640. This is 640 will in its turn find its way. Say bank C, it will create a deposits of 640 rupees and so on. The total deposits will now grow into 1000 rupees, 800 rupees, 640 rupees plus up to etc. till ultimated the excess cash reserve betters out. It can be shown that when that stage is reached, the total of the above will be rupees 5000. Money multiplier is equal to 1 by 20%. That is 1 by 20 by 100 is equal to 1 by 20 into 100 is equal to 5. Graded creation is rupees 1000 into 5 is equal to 5000. That's all for today. We will continue in the next class. Finish the assignment by clicking the link below.